Rejection. In the writing community, we talk about this a lot, and that makes sense because one of the biggest hurdles to becoming a traditionally published author is querying, getting an agent, and with that comes a lot of rejection. But what I don't see talked about a lot is rejection after getting an agent or after being published. One of the reasons why querying authors find writing query letters, writing synopses so difficult is because they're really hard. But unfortunately, you don't stop writing those once you get an agent. Once I turned in my second book to my publishers, I immediately started working on my third book. And even though my contract was essentially up, I wanted to prepare myself for the possibility that they would offer me a new contract. Now my first two books were the first two books of a series, so naturally I started writing the third book in this series. And when my publisher reached out to me and said, hey, we really enjoyed working with you on these first two books, we'd like to continue working with you and offer you a new contract, I was super excited. I was ready to go. I'd already started the book, the outline was done. And then they told me that they didn't want to go further with the series. They said they really enjoyed working with me, they loved my writing style, they loved my first two books, but they just didn't want to go forward with the series. They wanted to see if I had anything else that I was willing to write for them. So I went back to the drawing board. I wrote up a new synopsis for a totally new story. I wrote out an outline. I started writing some chapters. I sent it in to them. No, not at all. They didn't want it. It was kind of a subset of the thriller genre they weren't interested in. And they said, no, we're not interested in that. Do you have anything else? So I went, okay, back to the drawing board again, came up with a new idea, sent that into them. Thankfully, they loved it. Like, this is great, this is perfect, this is exactly what we're looking for, this is very marketable, this fits perfectly into a niche that we're trying to grow, we will take it. But we only do 2 book contracts, so what is the second book you're going to offer us? And I literally had no idea. So again, I went back to the drawing board, wrote a new synopsis for a new story, didn't do an outline this time because I learned my lesson before, sent them the new synopsis. Rejection. So I came up with another idea. Another synopsis written, another synopsis turned in, and rejection. And at this point I'm thinking, I'm never gonna come up with something that they want. But I came up with one more idea, I wrote one more synopsis, I turned it in, and they were interested. And I was like, okay, great, that's awesome, let's do this. But they were interested on conditions. And that condition was that I gave them more information. Essentially, they wanted me to rewrite my synopsis to give away more of the tricks and the twists and more motivation of the character. And I had no idea. Like, I hadn't written a sentence of this story. I hadn't written an outline. Like, my synopsis was like a page and a little bit over long. It was very vague because honestly, I didn't know what I was doing. This is like my, 5th, 6th idea that I've come up with for them. And I kind of panicked, but then I got my act together. I, edited the synopsis. I sent it back in and they were like, perfect, great, we will take this one too. So then I had my first book, my second book, they went off, wrote up the contract. But how many book ideas and how many synopses did I write in order to get that acceptance? I mean, I was rejected, 4, almost 5 times? I mean, there was honestly a point at which I thought, I might have to walk away from this publisher. I don't think I can write anything that they want. Now, that third book was Sweet Little Lies that came out last year. That fourth book, the one that I had to rewrite the synopsis multiple times, that one comes out in September, which means you got it. My contract is up, and what's next? And the truth is, I don't know. I have a lot of ideas about what I want to write next. I actually have 3 fully formed ideas and outlines planned for my next book, but I don't have a contract. And I don't know if my publisher is going to offer me a contract. They might not, or they might, and I might decide that I want to go with somebody else. But either way, I'm back to that period of potential rejections. All of that to say, if you are a new writer or you are in the querying trenches and you are just struggling with rejection after rejection after rejection, know that it never ends. No, just kidding. I mean, not kidding, but the point is, every single new query letter you write, every single new synopsis you write, every single new story idea you come up with and you build and you put effort and energy into, you're giving yourself a better chance of success down the road. And those painful rejections that you're getting now as an author in the querying trenches, it's going to prepare you for the rejections you will get after you're agented, after you're a published author, after you're successful. Because yes, even some of your favorite authors who you think are just so successful, they can never do wrong, no publisher is ever going to turn down their ideas, they will. It happens to everybody. Nobody is safe. So just keep going, improve your craft. It will be worth it in the end, but remember that even one step forward can sometimes also end up being a step or two backwards, but that's just how it is. That's the world of art when you mix art with business. And all of those ideas I had that were rejected by this publisher, I've kept them because you know what? Another publisher down the road, they might want them. So the work is never a complete loss. Just keep at it.